How's it going, YouTube? It's Panda time. In this video we have a Garurumon showdown. We have myself playing Magnagarurumon going up against Garurumon X, you know, the best deck with the BT9 meta, arguably. We're gonna start with a Magnagarurumon into a blue memory boost. Can see most of the chain there, so it's gonna pick up, you know, what our piece is missing. In this case, it's our boy Garurumon, my favorite Digimon. We're gonna go Upamon into a Stravi, try and set up either our Tamers. Yeah, looks like Sorajo is gonna be the play here. Maybe a Davis would have been better to start with, but you know, still nice to be able to set that up. He's gonna stay in the back as you would expect, and gonna be building up to that chain. Looks like we're gonna stay in the back as well. Not gonna go and just swing for chip damage. So we got a Kumamon that can one swing gain a memory, which is kind of nice. Essentially makes him cost 1 if you think about it. We actually survive, which is unexpected. And then it's going to be a Davis 2 memory choke. In this case, we're picking up the Magnagarurumon for some power plays in the future. The where it comes out, and he's free to swing over the Kumamon and restand. But I'm okay with this, right? We force him to come out of racing, and when he's swinging, he's not swinging at security just yet. But he's going to equip the sauce and then swing into, or Digivolve into the X. Swinging at security, I guess, yeah. So gonna be into an ice wall, and the Omnimon actually is gonna kill the stack because he has no protection. Really bad for him, right? Worst case scenario, there's a Hammer Spark and then his Digimon died. Less than ideal. We're going to continue the memory choke, you know, the fact that we've had Tamers and he does not means that we're able to do so over and over. In this case, doing so with a Judge Koalamon. We're also able to set up a Koji. We know we have the Magna in hand. So seems pretty solid with 3 Tamers. We're doing our best to pressure as much as we can. But another memory boost means that next turn he might have just enough memory to potentially even go for a game, right? Depending on how good his stack is. This time around picking up the Garurumon X, so he will have the protection. We can, you know, have the Koalamon as a blocker, but blocker is not great against Garurumon, so you can just bounce them. It's going to be a Boko play here to pick up a Beowulf and another Koji. You know, continuing our aggression, getting multiple bodies out on the board as we try and set up for game, although, you know, we still have to do quite a bit of damage. But we do have Tamers. Try and just memory choke him if possible. Gonna be using the Sorajo here, getting memory back with the Bokomon. Maybe just swing at security for a little bit of chip damage, and then try and find a way to give him as little memory as possible. We're definitely not going for game this turn, right? And although he could next turn with double boosts, we'd have to hope that it just would not be good enough at this point. Thinking about, you know, how we want to spend our turn. I guess the question here is like, are we going to like say Hammer Spark Beowulf just to get the Korikaku back? And looks like that is what we're gonna do. You know, being able to cycle the hybrid, and hey, the 7k actually made a massive difference. Korikaku would have died in security, but Beowulf gets to survive. Then we can use the recycled Beowulf or Korikaku to go over Koalamon to memory choke him to 1. I like this play because the blocker is likely not going to do too much, and setting him to 1 memory is way more likely to influence his turn. He's able to swing over the Beowulf, but I think we're okay with this. It just means that he's once again going for clear instead of going for game, which is always a good thing for us. Gonna go into the Garurumon X, which can then bounce the Korikaku, but that's another hybrid that we have to work with. You know, Bokomon still just out there chilling. Gonna equip the sauce, potentially go into the Metal X to bounce the Boko. That could be pretty good. Nice way for him to clear the board and push some damage. So I'd say a pretty strong turn overall. Obviously possible because he had, you know, 2 memory boosts set up. So a pretty strong turn there. We got another Koji in security. It shouldn't be a massive difference though, as we already did have 1 Koji. But like I said, yeah, a pretty strong turn. We are going to go into the Magna using the Koji effect to get the warp. As we have 2 Magnas, we're going to be able to bounce his metal. And from that position, that should pretty much be game. Once we swing, gain a memory from the Stravi, we bounce, get 1 for the Koji, restand, become unblockable. You know, his stack is out of there. We can potentially look to just once again memory choke him to 1 without hitting into anything in security that might cost us the game. And then next turn we will be good to set up for game no matter what, right? So a pretty strong back and forth there. And then, you know, 1 good Magna play can definitely be all it takes. Our opponent wasn't able to set up any tamers, but his memory boosts were pretty good and did allow him to have some pretty strong plays. But at this point, yeah, being memory choked, that's pretty much going to be the game. Midoki is not going to do anything here, as it can get bounced by the Magna. Then we can use all our memory gain effects, swing in at security multiple times. We have hybrids after, and that's going to be the game. So some nice back and forth, but a pretty clean game one, I would say. For game 2 here, we're not going to open a rookie, and then Davis is also not going to find a rookie. So less than ideal, but you know that is Digimon, it is what it is. He's going to start with the young Gabu X. We'll see if he can set up a tamer. Ooh, it's going to be hard dropping a wear. Interesting. We could potentially bounce this. If my hand has the correct pieces, we could bounce the wear and actually be in a pretty good situation. So without a rookie, we're forced to Digiball or a Davis. Less than ideal, but it is what it is. We can go into a Beowulf, swing to get our Garurumon back, and then go into a Magna to bounce the wear. I'd say all things considered a pretty good opener. This Magna can't really bounce anything else, but he can potentially get a bunch of restands, and we're able to, you know, answer his hard drop 5. So I'd say it's pretty good. We also finally see a rookie, so we have place to work with. Not bad. Gonna be swinging at security into a Garurumon X, and then setting up a Koji for future plays. I'd say so far so good. He was able to build up into a wear, you know, with a pretty solid stack, so we're gonna see what happens. It's actually not the greatest stack, to be honest, right? He doesn't have Garurumon to get the restand. But he's able to go into the EX Metal because he has enough cards, he can maintain turn. And with the Sunamon baby, he's 13k, which is enough to punch over my Magnagarurumon. Definitely a good response. I'd say the Magna did his job right. He was able to bounce a 5 and do some damage, and then tank an attack. I'm okay with that. Obviously it cost us our Davis, which is less than ideal, but it is what it is. Gonna be setting up a blue memory boost. There's the Metal X, but he's gonna take the Garuru X instead. We have not a lot to work with, just a rookie and a Koji. But you know, we've got our opponent down to 3 security, so we're probably gonna just be swinging aggressively and looking to close the game out with some sort of Magna play. Gonna be playing to a Bokomon here, can pick up a Stravi and a Sora Joe. You know, definitely we need those hybrids in hand to set up that powerful Magnagarurumon play. The metal is kind of scary, we might just not have a good answer to it. Gonna swing into a Delicate Plan, looks like it's playing a bit of the red build. Gonna cash out some Boko immediately for the value. Hammer Spark to gain a memory. We have our Jam and we can go into the Beowulf. Can swing, take our Kendo back, get the memory back from the Koji. You know, still pretty good. Continuing our aggression, it's a guaranteed survival and we get a memory back. So now we have 3 bodies on the board and he only has 1 security left. Ideally we set up a Tamer here and we might be more than okay for next turn. I like it, pretty good. Now there is a world where Metal X is going to hurt us quite a bit, as he could potentially swing over the Beowulf, go into the Metal X and then bounce both of our rookies and have a blocker set up. So, you know, potentially kind of scary, but he's only at 1 security, so I feel like we're still in a pretty decent spot. He is going to go for that play though, it seems like. It's too good to pass up. Both the rookies go back to our hand as Magna bounces, or Garuru bounces lowest levels. He could even swing a security because like he needs to find a way to close the game out. So I do like him being aggressive. It could potentially backfire if he had hit something strong in security. But I think it's correct because he needs to make a play to win the game. And that seems like the best way to go about it. Like sure, I have a hybrid, but the hybrid or the tamer that I have is not a Koji. So we realistically only get 1 attack, meaning that he doesn't actually need the blocker this turn. And he can instead set up to win next turn. And by memory choking us to 1 with the Ice Wall, you know, he's going to ensure that we cannot go for game this turn. All we could do is really set up a Kumamon. So with the Kumamon and Strabi underneath, next turn, even if we're set to 1, we can swing with Kuma, go to 2, and then hybrid for game. Seems like a pretty solid game plan. But with the Magna on the board, a memory boost, and a level 4 in the back, you know, this could potentially be game. That said though, anything in our security would instantly win the game, so I'm okay with this. He's going to be swinging with the Garurumon first for 2 checks, makes sense. See what happens there. Double checking what is in my trash, if he has to play around some of the security. I think we saw Boko bottom deck Kukata's Breath already, but obviously something like Kukata's would just win the game on the spot. Memory Burst is okay in case we get another turn. But he's gonna go into the Were, and now Were can swing twice, nothing in security, and that's gonna be the game. So a pretty good back and forth there. We saw the Magna put in some work, but the EX Metalgarurumon into the Garuru X was definitely a good answer. Gonna be starting off with double Gabumon. At least we both have rookies this time around. Should be a pretty solid game here, and we are gonna be setting up our Davis, picking up some pieces. Again, put him to 1, make it so we can't be memory choked. The X is gonna reveal the Garurumons and the Were. Picking up the pieces, gonna go into the Garuru right away. Might be looking to just swing for some chip damage and cycle through to find a better stack for the back. And that seems like it's the play. He's gonna take it back and swing first into a Stravi. Okay, so the Garurumon is kind of annoying. We definitely do want to answer that. And we still want to just sit here and kind of just memory choke, right? So Judge Koala with the Stravimon on deletion is pretty good. Definitely one of my favorite setups. A nice way to get a free Koji. We're gonna then set up a Stravi, which can pick up a Magna or a Kumamon in this situation. I do like Kumamon. He's a bear. He's got a bear hat. He's a cool dude. Can't wait to get that juicy Altart in the future. So the Garuru could swing. We can block that and then play a free Koji. I feel like I'm okay with that outcome. We're still gonna just be memory choking him, trying to deny the Garurumon plays, slow him down a little bit. We do need to start going on the offensive here. We don't want to give him too much time to work with. He's got double Garurumon X, so now Koalamon can't really block, and with the sauce equipped, he can even swing and immediately go into the Were, which is pretty good. He's able to balance the Stravi. We are still going to block that because I do want to get my Koji for free and not take damage there. So he's able to clear my board and be treading in with 2 stacks, you know, 1 in the front, 1 in the back. So really strong plays for sure. This is a game where we're both pretty aggressive decks, but we can't just like sit there and ignore each other's board, right? So I would call this some pretty good Digimon. That said, we did set up our Koji for free from the Judge Koala Dine, which is kind of nice. Because of that, we can use the Hammer Spark and then warp into the Koji. Now this is pretty early in the game, so it's going to cost me pretty much my entire hand. But the idea here is that, you know, we can go into the Magna. Magna can then answer his 5 and start pressuring his security, which puts us in a fantastic spot to win the game, right? The Magna can swing, restand, it's going to swing again into a metal, which is unfortunate as we lose our Magna. You know, that Magna could have given us more cards back and could have swung for 2 next turn, potentially going for the game, right? At this point, we only have 2 cards in hand. We're forced to memory choke him, but he's going to set up a Davis. So now we've kind of like committed our hold hand to the Magna, and because he died in security, we just don't have much to work with, right? Like in this case, imagine the Magna is still on the board. He could swing twice, give us back a hybrid, and then that would easily, and I mean very easily, be game, right? But that is Digimon. Although Magna is 12k, he can sometimes die in security. We're gonna Digivolve into a Beowulf. I think we're desperate to recycle our pieces. The Beowulf's gonna die in security, which is unfortunate to say the least. You know, in a close game, that extra 7k could make a big difference. Gonna just swing at security into another Tamer. You see the red Tamer that's gonna enable his Delca plan, and then hit into yet another Tamer. Kind of a yikes there. The last like 4 security checks were atrocious for me, I would say. But again, that is Digimon. We don't have a lot to work with. We're gonna just go into a Korikaku to at least cycle. Maybe if we draw into a Koji, if he kills Korikaku, we get a Koji for free, and then we can hybrid for game. At least that's the idea. Just keep in mind that at this point we just don't have many cards. He's gonna swing over Korikaku, and looks like we don't have the Koji, sadly. He's gonna get full board control though. Can then go into the X, do the cool boy shenanigans, get some memory, and now he can start swinging aggressively at security for 2 checks. He's got pretty much the perfect stack at this point, right? And Madoki Betamon to memory choke me to 1. So at this point, all we could really do is set up a rookie so that next turn we can go for game. If I have an Ice Wall, maybe Ice Wall might save me potentially, but realistically not. We're forced to get Kaido's Breath just so that we don't die. And to be fair, if we get 1 more turn, then the Stravi can swing for game, right? So even though security was unfortunate for me, even down to the wire, we're down to a pretty close game here. Could still go either way. Garurumon's gonna be pretty expensive, but he does have the cool boy to make up for it, getting extra memory. Can then go into the Were. The Were is free to swing multiple times. Thinking about how he wants to do this. He's got 2 memory. He's like thinking about the EX metal. He surely by now has so many cards in hand, right? Gonna be wear X just to keep drawing, just in case he might draw something that's gonna make a difference. Gonna be swinging, it looks like, for 2 checks. He does survive. He gets to go into Metal X and then can restand with the X for the game. A pretty exciting game. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thank you guys so much for watching.